This is just the call to know your feedback. How did you like the career coaching? Now you have landed the job and you have already started. So would love to talk more about that and would love to learn more about your experience that you had with me and Z. So we'll start with just one question and then obviously we will follow up with other questions with your answers. So do you mind just sharing a quick introduction about yourself?
So I'm now working in an advertisement agency as an account executive. Prior to this, I was working with News Corp. So I was in the production department, and I wanted to make a switch. Hence, I came to you. And I think the best part about the career coaching program was you giving me insight of how an advertisement industry works and what shall I expect once I enter into that industry. How are we going to tackle our situations, that why are we making a transition from production to advertisement, and what value are we going to add from this to that. And apart from that, your experience and your assistance in helping me format my CV. The other thing was your assistance in letting me know that how can I add my just relevant experience to the role. I think that helped quite a lot. I wasn't getting any interviews prior to the CV that I was submitting, and I was able to land at least 10 to 12 interviews because of that. And from there on, we just went a step ahead and ahead, tackling upon the situation. So, overall, my experience with career coaching has been fantastic. Apart from that, you guys helped me when I was at the low moment. Um, Coming up with rejections, and you told me that this is just a part, and you have to go through that. And the moment we said that, the next day we used to have another interview. So it was like restarting it from again and again. But it never felt like a restart. It always felt like a step forward because again, every interview rejection came with a lot of experience and the stuff that I was not supposed to say. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing all the experiences. But do you want to share a bit about your background? What exactly was your like? You had bachelor's, I think, in marketing.
So I did my bachelor's in business administration, and then I did my master's in mass communication and journalism. And I had a I didn't have a lot of experience. My experience was quite limited. It was on and off with internships in PR agencies and some of my newspaper work. So that was just my experience before I came to the UK, and I started studying my master's in journalism. So that was my second master's. So I didn't have a lot of work experience, but I did have an on and off experience of working here and there. So this was a big transition, and now I feel pretty much settled at this place because this is what I wanted to do in the first place. So yeah.
Just to understand a bit your perspective on things in terms of storytelling, when you started working with us, did you think that storytelling was this much important in securing roles? What was your perception? What was going on in your mind?
I always knew that storytelling has been it's been a vital factor when it comes to let's just say in an interview
Mhm,
because
mhm,
it reflects your actual experience. But the thing with me was I wanted to tell the stories, but I did not have a lot of stories when it revolved around the advertising experiences.
mhm,
And the job market is such that they want to see a person who basically has an experience around at least working around that people or something.
mhm,
So and then the other issue with me was that because that I gave typically very long answers.
mhm,
So whenever I was trying to form a story, I got lost into that essence. So this is where you and Karan helped me out. I was aware, but I did not realize how much power it holds. So supposedly, if you are basically talking to someone and you tell a story that leaves a long-lasting impression on that person's mind, and that person also feels that okay, so this might be just one of the many situations that this person has encountered.
mhm.
So this person has some value to bring to the table, and we should give this person a chance. So I think this is where storytelling adds on to a lot of factors. But yeah, storytelling does help a lot.
Really appreciate your detailed response on that. And I think there are a couple of interesting things there. One is that, and I hope you would agree that storytelling is actually the context of your CV. So your CV says, I did XYZ things. I studied at XYZ universities. I completed XYZ diplomas, degrees, certifications. But it's actually your storytelling that tells how well you did them, how much engaging that experience for you was, and how much value you were able to get from those experiences. Because on a CV, it's very much like a top line bullet points of your life, of your professional career. But when you go into the conversation with an interviewer, with a recruiter, with someone who is hiring, you need to add context, you need to add color. It's an amazing one. So I think that's great on the storytelling. Then, Aviral, I think I would love to hear and understand, because I think when you are starting to find a role for yourself, it's very natural that you at times lose hope. You feel you are probably not capable, you are not talented enough, you are not skilled enough. How did you handle those situations? How did you boost your confidence in those situations? Because I know you have, because otherwise you wouldn't be sitting here having secured that role, right? So you are a success story. You have done it. You have proved that it is doable. So just would like to understand what happens, and also so that other people who are in that journey, they can reflect on their experiences and learn something from you and your experience.
So I basically got rejected from a company which I wanted to work with very
Mhm,
dearly from the final
mhm,
round, and
mhm.
this was like one of the companies which I was hoping that I'm gonna make it,
The
and
one you
because
had
I
the
was
the one you had the round with the I think with the senior
the
stakeholders.
yeah, the president and the partners,
Yeah.
and I was actually very confident about that, but
Mhm.
I lost that role, and it was also the time where I had exhausted all of my energy.
Mhm.
I did not have the energy to go through all of it again. That now I'm gonna go around, find a job, tailor my CV, add it onto a spreadsheet, wait for the recruiter call, go through the same questions. But then I had a call with Karan, and he told me that this is going to be a part and parcel before you land something. Uh, he told me one thing, that it's all going to be worth it in the end. So if you just keep doing it, one way or the another, you will land. And that is when it struck me. I sat down again, took a day's break, uh, went through the whole process again and again. Eventually, I think at a point where you start receiving at least your interview calls, you feel a bit confident, and then you realize that it's not just one but two more people behind the scenes who are helping you to crack this job interview. It and then also, like, Karan used to check up on me quite often, that how is it going, did you receive anything. That's So it gave me a bit of comfort that yes, someone is also worried. They are also as much invested as I am into that process. So some way or the another, we will have to close this thing, and eventually we did. So yeah, you do feel low, you do feel bad, but at the end of the day, if you let those emotions overtake you, you will won't be able to do or achieve up to that thing. So my typical advice to anyone is, don't let that emotions overpower you. Get onto that work. You'll personally feel good for yourself that you personally achieved something. That even reaching up to some interviews, not everyone can do that. So achieve that thing, and all the best.
Absolutely. So, one last question from my side. You went through the whole interview process with this employer that you're now working with, and they offered you the role, which means they said, "Yes, we like you. Let's work together." And between the time when they offered you the role and until the time you got a contract, a legal binding document, there was a lag, there was a delay between those two dates. How do you feel about that? I mean, for me, it's perfectly fine. There's an organization trying to sort out internal matters. They have committed verbally and through an email that we are interested, we are going to progress ahead with you. But do you think someone who hasn't got interviews, who hasn't started conversing with these interviewers, what would you like to tell them about these kind of things as well, so that they can manage their expectation in terms of how quick or how lengthy the processes can be, depending on so many factors that are beyond your control, beyond candidates' control?
So, process can be quite different than what we can imagine. Uh, so when basically I got a call and they told me that they'll start preparing my contract. I was like, okay. So the recruiter, she called me from a no caller ID, and the only way to reach out to her was on email. The business director who was supposed to sign my contract, she used to be in the office only on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It was only, and then I used to think that how hard it is to just sign on a contract, just get done with it already. I'm waiting. But then also because I took a vacation at home, so I was pretty much chill over there. I was like, okay, I'm having a good time of my life. I mean, if once they'll send me the contract, they'll give me a window of a week or two, and then I'll just go back and start my work over there. So, but there was a time I started to panic. I was like, okay, are they going to send it or not? But then I made a decision that, okay, I'll start applying for other jobs in the meantime, because unless and until you don't get anything in written, you should not be trusting too much. But then again, like I got the contract, started with my job. One thing I would like to tell to everyone is once I witnessed an agency environment by myself going in there, I realized how busy and how occupied that person is. She is loaded with hundreds of things. Once she enters, she straight away sits on to her system and then keeps on working meetings, because everyone just has 2 days of her and they want to discuss everything that they can. And the rest of the days she is busy with clients or everything. So these things do take a bit of time. Obviously you are important because you're a new joinee, but some things which are existing, they are much more important. They are not going to bring someone new by losing out on old business, because then it won't be any point. So this is just the only thing. Yeah, it happens. It's a lengthy process, but again, like, it is what it is. It's going to take a time. It's not in your control, but do keep applying until you get anything, at least in written or confirmation.
Awesome. Thank you, Viral. And just to wrap this up, and one last question for you. Why did you join us? Yeah.
I like that you've emphasized the students to focus on skills, and not taking any shortcuts. And I like the honesty that if it's something that you can't do it, you can't do it. No sugarcoating. So I think this is what I liked. And then I thought that if I'll be able to make through the career coaching call, this means that, okay, I might be able to. I know that I'll be able to do that. But if someone else also feels that, who regularly deals with the students like that on daily basis, he will be giving me an answer without any biasness. So if he feels that, okay, he can help me out, I can do it, maybe that's a great step forward. Nextly, we started tailoring out the resumes. The next thing I saw that, okay, even I can get an interview call. But then again, I sat in the interviews, and then everything went out. I just like the way he presents things, how effective the communication is, and how easily and how blunt he can be in his conversations. But I think this is what it is required. You can mint out the money by people, by giving them all sorts of fake promises, but it won't last any long. So that's my only reason why I proceeded with Karan.
Sorry, just one last question because it just came to my mind. So you are currently on your graduate visa, and
Yeah.
you came to me in September or October, I think, if I'm not wrong.
Uh,
November, I can't remember.
Nearby November.
Nearby November, and you land a job in March. So it took us 4 months. Obviously, December was a
Yeah.
cold month, but and your graduation visa starts on January 2025, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay, so
yes.
you
15th
still
of
have
Jan.
22 months left in your graduation visa. You have a job which you can work out and go into account manager position and negotiate sponsorship, right?
Yes, and I think that was a good. I think I reached out to you into the right time. Obviously, it was very obvious that I will be starting my job on the graduate visa itself, because I was working out my another role, and then we applied for the visa. It took its time, but within a month, I received. So, yeah. So on 23rd of February, I think I received my call that, Aviral, you have got the job. And then I went home for 3 weeks, and on 19th of March, I started my work. So it is a good effort for 3 or 4 months, and if you do not have any experience. But again, once you have an experience, then that process can seem a bit easy. because then you know what you have to say. But at least once, if you are starting out, 3 to 4 months is the time period that you have to spend
Yeah.
if you want to sort out
It's
30, 40 next years of your life. 3, 4 months is the minimum investment that you can do.
it's not a shortcut. It's a long-term game.
Go on with that. Why do not limit yourself? Why do you have to think that you cannot do it? Everyone can do it. So
Awesome,
yeah,
awesome.
that's
Thank you, Aviral. Thank you for
uh,
obviously sharing all these insight. I'm sure this will help
no
many other
worries, guys.
people. And thank you for joining us today.
No worries. Thank you,
Okay.
guys. Have a great day.